Hello YouTube, welcome to Sin City Living. As always, please hit the like and subscribe buttons. We have content coming out every single week. And for today's episode, we want to talk about a viewer submitted strategy. They call it the freeze or burn. So let's discuss the strategy. Let's see how it works first. So first thing about this is that they start out with a $25 don't pass. They have a $25 field. They place 5 for 50, place the 6 for 60, place the 8 for 60, and they do a direct lay of the 9 for $360. Now, this direct lay on the 9 is going to cost $12 up front, okay? And with this strategy, everything is working all the time, regardless of whether the point is off or on. Okay. Now, lays are always working, and the field is always working, and of course the don't pass is working depending on what's going on. It's either going to win or lose. So, first let's just take a look at this. I have seen a lot of strategies like this. I probably see a strategy like this once a week. This kind of strategy is the type that to the dealers that we see this, we think it's one of those players that they're just going to try and grind and grind and grind because their theory, their idea is that they are trying to hedge literally everything. So the idea is that this is another one of those attempts to build a strategy that can't lose. There is no such thing as a strategy that can't lose in dice, but there are some that come closer and closer as far as hedging things back and forth. Don't really say whether or not these types of strategies are good or bad. It just depends on your style of play, what you like to do. But this is definitely a grinder strategy. You need a larger bankroll. The idea behind this was a $2,000 bankroll to start with, because as you see, you have a lot of money on the table. 120 right here, plus this one, 170, and $170 plus another 50, 220, plus 360. And you're looking at $580, $592. $592 to get in on this. Now, in some way, shape, or form, chips are being exchanged on almost every single roll. So let's just sit here and look at what happens with each type of roll. So if a 2 were to roll, this is going to pay double. So it's just going to be a straight $50 profit. Okay? Straight $50 profit on a 2. Let's say a 3 rolls. It's going to be a straight $25 profit on a 3. If a 4 were to roll, also straight $25 profit. Let's say a 5 rolls. Well, everything is working, so this would lose, but the player would pull $70 off of 5. Same thing with the 6 and 8. Either one of these are going to pull $70 and $70. We're going to skip the 9 for a second and take a look at 10, 11, and 12. So, we're going to replace that field bet every single time. So, if a 10 were to roll, makes a quarter. If an 11 were to roll, makes a quarter. And if a 12 were to roll, it's going to depend. On this layout, it says double. Some places will pay triple. We're going to go ahead and pay triple just for the hell of it. Why not? So, if you'll notice, most of the rolls, something is being paid. The player is pulling some sort of money. On some of these, they'll lose the 25 here, but they'll gain 70 here, so they're winning $45. On some rolls, they're just winning $25 outright. Some rolls, they're winning $50 outright, and either $50 or $75 outright. Okay. So this is looking like a pretty wonderful roll right here. It's looking like a fantastic roll. Now, what are the likelihoods of these things happening? There's 36 different types of different rolls of the dice. So we've got 1, 3, 6, 10, 15, 20, 23, 25, 26. 26 of the 36 combinations, or 13 out of 18, are pulling some sort of money, anywhere between 25 on the low end to 45 in the middle to either 50 or 75. We'll continue to say triple, so to 75 on the high end in profit. So most rolls, 26 out of the 36 rolls, or 13 out of 18, are going to make between $25 to $75. Now the $75 is one out of those 36, so it's the 25. So on average, looking at these, this player on average is pulling $35 to $40 every single roll. Now we've got one more possibility, or two more, the 7. So the 7 comes 1 in 6 times. Okay, so 6 out of 36. And now we're up to 32 out of 36 possibilities of the dice rolling. So if the 7 were to roll, how does this pay? It pays right here. Now, if it's a come out roll, this is going to lose. These are all going to lose because we have them working. But this 360 is going to win $240. So $372, because remember there's a vig involved, $12. $372 will pay $240. But we lost $195, which means it made $55 profit. $55 profit if it's a come out roll. If there happens to be a point, then this is also going to win. So it's going to win another $25. So at this point, it's only going to lose $170. So it's already making a $70 profit here, plus that. It's making a $95 profit. Okay. So this, if a 7 rolls, this is going to make either a $95 profit or a $45 profit. Although we're not including that $12 vig. So if we take that out, now we're looking at $83 profit or $33 profit. So depending on whether the point is marked or the point is not marked, it's going to make between 33 to 80 something, basically. $83, 33 to $83. And that is 32 of the 36 possible rolls of the dice. Which basically is 8 out of 9 rolls. So 8 out of 9 rolls of the dice, they're going to make between $25 up to $83 in profit. So what about that 1 in 9? What about that 1 in 9 if that 1 in 9 rolls happens? Does not matter if there's a point mark, so we'll leave the point mark for now. What happens if a 9 rolls? Well, if 9 rolls, this comes down. So the player just lost $372. $372 in loss. Now at that point, they can either bring themselves back up, or they can cut their losses and continue on to something else. So, why would people play this strategy? It's like any other strategy. No strategy completely works. This strategy has a few ups and a few downs. The ups would be every roll does not work out to perfect math. Dice is a very, 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 very streaky game. Just last night, I watched 4 10s go back to back. We also, just last night, had 3 hard 4s go back to back. Back to back to back hard 4s. 1 in 36 times, 1 in 36 times, 1 in 36. So we're looking at somewhere around a $1 in $40,000, $1 in 40,000 chance of that happening, but it happened. And I see it all the time because I see a lot of rolls. So dice is very, very streaky. So what this player is hoping for a lot of inside numbers to hit. Is their idea is to try and build themselves up to where they have made back their $195 attempt on the Iron Cross part of this bet. Once they have made back their money, now their idea at this point is to do like a mid press, a half press. They'll press a portion of what they make, and they'll collect a portion of what they make, which is not a bad way of playing. You know, go from 60, which on the 8, which pays 70, say press it up to 90. You're going to collect some, you're going to press some. That's the mid-press method is a great way of playing. It's a lot of fun to play. Most people that play the mid-press method don't wait until they have made back all of their money on their bets, but some people will certainly do that. So this player, once they have made their $195 back, at that point then they just go to, they figure they're now playing on house money. In reality it's their money because it's in their hand, and they're going to mid-press all the way up as far as they can go and see what kind of money they can make. Downside of that is it's grinder. In order to make back that $195 that you have committed when you're making, on average, about $40, is going to take 4 or 5 hits. If you get lucky and hit a couple of 12s, you're good. If you get unlucky and hit, say, a couple of 3s, 4s, 10s, 11s, it's going to take you even longer. And we've already discussed in prior videos how rare it is to see rolls that go 6, 7, 8, 9 rolls without seeing a 7, since you have a 1 in 6 chance of that 7 coming. Of course, if the 7 rolls, they're going to make money off of the no 9. Unfortunately, they're going to lose all this. So again, they make less than $100 on a $372 buy-in here. And the problem is when these 9s start hitting. So very streaky. What they're hoping for is they're hoping to see a lot of rolls without a 9. They don't really care what rolls, as long as it's not a 9. If 9s start happening, now they've got a problem. So this is definitely a grinder strategy. It's a strategy meant for one of two things: either staying at the table for as long as possible off a $2,000 buy-in. It's not common to see such a large buy-in and see a strategy that's geared towards making so little, but it's trying to hedge so many different things just so the player can stay on the table for as long as possible. So they're hoping to not see a 9, and they're just hoping to grind, just stay on the table as long as possible. The other potential idea behind this is to just make $100 and leave. Make $100 and go, because again, dice is streaky. I can see with this strategy on most days, if you come in within the first 20 minutes or so, you might make $100 within the first 20 minutes. Within your first 4, 5, 6 shooters, could very easily make $100, maybe even $200. In which case, walk away. Walk away, you've made a couple $100, you're good to go. Because if this strategy is played for any length of time, it's going to be like any other strategy. It's going to wipe you out eventually. All strategies wipe you out eventually. The power press method wipes you out. The mid-press method wipes you out. The iron cross wipes you out. All strategies that are played for 8 hours straight are going to wipe you out. That's not why you want to play dice. You want to play dice to try and win, or just try and have fun. So this strategy would certainly be a good strategy for sitting around on the table for a long period of time, except for the fact that you have to have such a large buy-in. The other problem that I see with this strategy is not necessarily a problem. It's not necessarily a bad thing per se, but it's a stroker strategy. This strategy, other players at the table and the dealers are going to absolutely hate, and are not going to help out the player. Because with this setup, set me up with my iron cross, always working. Now let me get my lay, got to take the vig, got to get the direct lay button. Probably need to clear back your stacks a little bit when you have a lay like this. And, you know, if a 7 rolls, boom, wipes it all out. We got to pay it, we hand it off. Now, oh, bring me back up on my iron cross, make it working, put my lay down. It's slowing the game down. It's going to slow the game down. It's going to drive the other players absolutely insane. And it's going to irritate the dealers, not because this is hard to set up, because it's really, really not. This is not a difficult bet to set up, especially if you're consistent. One of the things dealers absolutely love is a consistent bet. Because if you can just say, hey, let me get my action back, that's so much easier as we just go ahead and set it up, because we figured it out, we know what it is, we know how to set it up, very quick, very efficient. But this is still a slow strategy. This is still a strategy that the dice are going to sit there, and everybody on the table is going to be staring at that player as they're putting their money down, saying, I want my iron cross back, here's my lay, here's my vig, because we have to count it all down. Can't just hand us can't just throw $370 and say, give me no 9. You can, and that would actually be the proper way to do it, but it doesn't instant set up. For something like this, where we're dealing with black and with direct lays, we're going to have to sit there and cut this out in the come. We're going to have to look at the box, make sure they verify. We're going to have to set it up, pull the vig out, hand the vig to the box, and that's just with the no 9. Then you've got your iron cross, and since it's working, can't wait for the come out roll, can't wait for a point to be established. So while the player is waiting to throw their dice, when nobody else has any place bets up, they're all staring while the player is setting up all of their bets. It's going to drive the other players nuts. It's going to drive the dealers nuts as well, especially if you're going to play something like this, you need to have your bets ready to go at all times. Have your entire bet, your 372 plus your 170, sitting right there ready to go. So should a 7 wipe all of this stuff out, clear off your table, you'll get paid here, of course. You can instantly put it down and say, let me get my 170 on the iron cross, and let me go ahead and get my no 9. You can instantly do that. If you're sitting there fumbling with your chips, hold on, fumbling with your chips and slowly pulling out, you're going to drive the rest of the table absolutely crazy. And that's also the point where if you are not the shooter, there's a very good chance the dealer on stick just says, okay, we can't wait, we need to get a roll, moves the dice while this player is still trying to throw their money in which case they're very likely to get a no bet, which would be very frustrating if you have part of your bet and not the rest of it, and you just got no betted on setting up the rest of it. So if you're going to play a strategy like this, please make sure that you already have your bets ready to go. And that completes the discussion on this particular strategy. There are, of course, some people that have ideas of things such as dice control and setting the dice and certain things, but as the dealers will tell you, any experienced dealer will tell you, there's no such thing. As long as the back wall is being hit, it does not matter what you set the dice on. It does not matter how you throw them. As long as you hit the back wall, by every law of this universe, every scientific law of this universe, it is impossible to not have a random roll, which is the entire reason that back wall exists. But otherwise, there's a strategy. It's an interesting strategy. I can see where it could have some fun, definitely. And that is it. Thank you, YouTube. Please hit the like and subscribe buttons. And if any viewers have any strategies, by all means, send them on in. We would love to see them. Like I said, this is not a horrible strategy. I can see it. It's basically just crossing an iron cross with a direct lay as a little bit of a hedge. It could be fun. Could keep you on the table for a while as well. And depending on the roll, you could have a lot of fun with it. We'll catch you next time, YouTube. Thanks for watching.